order. So I'm going to call the meeting of the Charlestown Redevelopment Commission to order November 16th, 2020 at 6 p.m. Go ahead and have the roll call. BJ Steele.
I'm here.
John Spencer.
Here.
He's here. Derek Combs.
Here.
Gwen Mosier. I don't think she joined. I think she's absent. So let the record reflect that Donna Ennis is present, Donna Coomer is present, and our city attorney, Mickey Weber, is also present. Did anyone sign up for public comment?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right. And then old business. Does anyone have any old business? No. All right, moving on to new business. So Okra Small Business Grant Program Round 2 funding. I'll turn that over to Jill.
Thanks, Donna. And I'm going to see if you guys can see this.
We can.
Okay, great. So as you all, or as some of you are aware because you were on the selection committee, the city received 23 eligible applications after you approved the first round last month. The reason I say eligible is there were probably a handful of applications that came in that the people were outside of the city limits or did not meet the criteria of being in business on or before March 1st of 2020. So we did get more than 23 applications, but the selection committee met last week and reviewed the 23 applications that were received. And after, I think we met for at least an hour, if not longer, and going through all these applications. And what you have is what was sent out to you, but also is what is before you right now. And the selection committee is recommending 23 grants for round 2 for a total of $145,000 and would affect 102 jobs. And as you can see at the bottom here, I just went ahead and added round 1 just to kind of round that out, where you received 11 grant applications in round 1, awarded $105,000 in grants for a total of 34 jobs. So that brings a grand total of 136 jobs for $250,000 and 34 businesses that would benefit from this money. I will be glad to answer any questions. I hate to make that smaller, but I like to try to fit it all on one page. Answer any questions that you all may have as Redevelopment Commission as far as these recommendations are concerned. I will add though that since there were more applications than there was funding available in round 2, the selection committee utilized the policies and procedures that they had in place to go through those applications. Those policies and procedures were posted on the city's website and were available, with the grant application documents. And so those had to do with what degree the businesses have been impacted and considered non-essential. A number of the businesses were required to shut down because they were non-essential. Others almost shut down, even though they were still essential. Then they couldn't operate in a manner that they needed to make those businesses profitable, and people weren't getting out. As far as the restaurants go, most of the restaurants were essential, but number one, they might not have been set up to do carry out business, which I'm not in the restaurant business, so I didn't quite understand that until talking to some of them, that you really have to be set up and your kitchens have to be set up in order to make that profitable, and people need to get out and come and pick up meals, which didn't always happen. Then there was also a consideration of how business has been impacted by the new health requirements as far as social distancing. And, if they could be open, then what did they have to do to make sure that they were in compliance with all the governor's executive orders, whether that be plexiglass or only seating half of their patrons because maybe they're If in case of the restaurant, maybe the restaurant wasn't large enough to be able to seat anyone at all, which definitely impacted business. The level of participation which the business participated in other federal funding that was offered. And we just focused on federal funding. There were some other local funds that were available to people, but with the grant requirements, we couldn't, or communities and businesses could not double dip per se. So they couldn't use money from the CARES Act to spend that on the same expenditures that they were asking for money from the city of Charlestown for. I don't think we had any issue with that, even though some had gotten larger sums of money, which you can see on the sheet. Those funds were available to them in April or May. And so I verified with them that that money had either already been expended or they were using that money for some other objective than what they were applying for grant money for. We also looked at businesses that were minority, women, or veteran owned. And then one of the last criteria was businesses that employ at least 51% low and mod income. The reason I say that was one of the last criteria, that's actually, part of the eligibility criteria for the grant, but the city's low mod percentage based on their entire pool was upwards of 95%, and it had to be 51%. So most, if not all, of the businesses had low mod or people that qualified as low mod. I don't know if any of the commission members have any questions about this list. If you do, I'll be glad to try to answer it, any that you have.
Does anyone have any questions for Jill?
I don't have any questions. I appreciate you guys taking the time to go through all the applications. I'm sure all the businesses will appreciate it as well.
Thanks, BJ. All right. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the second round of funding for the Okra Small Business Grant based on the recommendations of the committee as Jill has presented here.
I make the motion.
I second that motion.
So I have a first by BJ, a second by John Spencer.
Yeah.
Is there any discussion? All right, I will call for the roll call vote here. BJ Steele,
Yes.
John Spencer,
Yes.
Derek Combs.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you all, and thank you so much, Jill, for all the work that you did, and thank you, Ruthie Jackson, for also being on the call. She was on the committee, and she worked really hard on this, and the mayor as well. I'm not sure if the mayor is on the call. I know she had another meeting, but the mayor worked very hard on this and getting the businesses. So thank you for everyone that put a lot of time and effort into this, John Spencer as well. And Jill, just thank you for everything that you've done. Is there any other new business that needs to be brought up tonight?
I have two things, Donna. One's related still to this small business grant. And that is that I will prepare something for Leah to send out as a press release and post on social media. I'll also reach out to, I'll send the documentation that I have to send to the Office of Community and Rural Affairs to get that process and approval started. And hopefully we can request that funding before Thanksgiving. I would hope that by the end of this week we could, put a request in for this money. I'll reach out to each of these grantees and send them a grant agreement so they can start looking that over and kind of give them a timeline of what's going to happen next. And the other item that I had, and this is just for you to think about for your redevelopment commission meeting on December 1st. As you may be aware, Baker Tilly is going to be presenting various permanent financing options to you at your December 1st meeting. And we thought as a logical next step that that you should request a letter of engagement from Frost Brown Todd, because you're going to have some type of bond counsel to work on whatever option that is of permanent financing. Frost Brown Todd, just for your information, was engaged by the prior administration to work on the Arc Renaissance project and the financing there. They had given the city a very good rate for that, and have also gone through had the institutional knowledge, for lack of a better way to say that, to hit the ground running on these financing options. Again, you don't have to decide anything tonight, but we have requested a letter of engagement for your consideration at your next meeting. And I just wanted to bring that up in case anybody had any questions or concerns with us doing that and having that for your next meeting.
I don't have any questions or concerns. I'm familiar with Frost Brown Todd, and I think they're a great firm, so I have absolutely no problems there. Does anyone else have any questions or concerns regarding that? John says no questions here.
Donna, I would just add, as Jill mentioned, I think, they certainly gave us quite a discounted rate on the last one, and not to mention, I just don't think it would, we could, but I just think that they have so much institutional knowledge and have already reviewed all of our TIF creation documents to pay somebody else to re-review those. Probably, I just think it's more economical. So.
All right. I appreciate you guys looking out for us in that aspect as well. So I'm eager to get those that long-term debt finance. So I know that's a goal, so we can figure out where we are. Does anyone else have anything additional? All right. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Anyone?
So moved.
Thanks, John. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thanks, Steve.